And the Oscar goes to Michael B. Jordan.
Remember when it felt like Timothée Chalamet had the 2026 Academy Awards in a chokehold? Like it was done, finished, engraved. Best actor? His. Yeah, about that. Because somehow, some way, we went from he's 100% winning to waking up and realizing Michael B. Jordan is the one holding the Oscar. And now, everyone's sitting there like, wait, what just happened?
That was one of the worst Oscars I've ever witnessed in my entire life. I didn't realize the Academy would stoop this low. They actually gave an award to a dude from a vampire movie, bro. I'm out here making actual...
So let's talk about it. Because this wasn't just a loss. This was one of the fastest momentum shifts you'll ever see in an awards race. Now, the story really starts with Marty Supreme, and I'm not even exaggerating when I say none of this matters if that movie flops. Seriously, if that movie comes out, nobody watches it, critics hate it, conversation over. He's not even in the race like that. But that's not what happened. Marty Supreme hits big time, critically acclaimed, box office success, becomes one of A24's biggest films ever. And a huge part of that, Chalamet himself. The marketing, the presence, the energy. He was everywhere. And I mean everywhere. And this is where things get interesting, because the same energy that made the movie a hit is also what started to work against him. Let me explain. Chalamet didn't run a quiet, sit back and be humble campaign. Nah, he went full throttle. We're talking viral interviews, bold statements, experimental marketing, merch drops, social media stunts. He leaned all the way into the moment.
And I don't want to be working in ballet or opera or, things where it's like, hey, keep this thing alive, even though no one cares about this anymore. All respect to the ballet and opera people out there. I just lost 14 cents in viewership.
And look, on one hand, it worked. You don't get a movie like Marty Supreme to that level without that kind of push, especially not an original film in today's Hollywood. But on the other hand, people started to notice, and not always in a good way. See, there's this weird unspoken rule when it comes to actors and awards. You're supposed to want it, but not look like you want it too much. You're supposed to be great, but also humble about it. Confident, but not too confident. Chalamet kind of ignored all that. He talked openly about greatness, about wanting to be one of the best. He embraced the spotlight instead of shrinking from it. And while some people loved that, others, not so much. And this is where the narrative starts to shift. Because while he's doing all this, while he's dominating headlines and building hype, another story is quietly building in the background. Enter Michael B. Jordan. Now, at first, he's not even really in the conversation like that. In fact, a lot of people thought he was an afterthought this season. But then, his film, Sinners, starts picking up steam. His performance? Heavy, emotional, transformative. And most importantly, it peaks at the right time. Because timing in award season, it's everything. While Chalamet's campaign had been running for months, loud, visible, constant, Jordan's momentum hit late, fresh, strong, hard to ignore. And at the same time, something else starts happening to Chalamet. People start getting tired. Not necessarily of his performance, but of him. The constant visibility, the clips, the headlines, the personality. It becomes a lot. And once that feeling sets in, it spreads fast. You start hearing words like cocky, overexposed, too much. Fair or not, that becomes part of the conversation. Then comes the industry. And this is where things really flip. Because awards like the Golden Globes and Critics' Choice, those are voted by critics and journalists. Important, yes, but not the same as the Academy. Once industry groups step in, like BAFTA and SAG, that's when you start seeing what the people inside Hollywood actually think. And suddenly, Chalamet stops winning. not just loses once, stops winning entirely. And that's a huge red flag, because now it's not just about performance anymore. It's about perception. It's about narrative. It's about how people feel when they check that box on the ballot.
I'm so honored and privileged to be nominated in categories with people and actors and humans that I love, and I love their work and what you contribute to our craft.
Meanwhile, Jordan delivers speeches that hit emotionally, talks about his journey, his struggles, his growth, and people connect with that. The room connects with that. And when people feel something, that matters a lot. Now, add another layer to this: age. And yeah, it sounds crazy, but it matters. The Academy has a long history of making younger actors wait. Doesn't matter how good you are, doesn't matter if you deserve it. There's this mindset of he'll get his turn. Chalamet is 30. In Oscar terms, that's still early. So when voters are deciding between someone who feels like they have time and someone whose moment feels right now, that can tip the scale. And then, of course, you've got everything else. The interviews, the viral moments, the opera and ballet comments that rubbed people the wrong way, the constant media attention, even his relationship with Kylie Jenner becoming part of the discourse. Individually, none of these things probably cost him the Oscar, but together, it's a pileup. And that's really what this comes down to, a compound effect. Because awards like this aren't decided in a vacuum. It's not just who gave the best performance, it's who feels right, who's having the moment, who do we want to reward right now. And by the time the final votes were cast, the feeling had shifted. Chalamet went from inevitable to questionable to just not the pick. And that fast. But here's the thing, and this is important. This doesn't hurt his career. If anything, it kind of confirms where he's at. He carried a major film, he dominated an entire award season, he was the frontrunner. That doesn't happen by accident. He's still one of the biggest stars on the planet, still leading major projects, still headlining films that actually make money, original films at that. And in a weird way, this might actually help him, because Hollywood loves a narrative. And now he's got one. The guy who got close but didn't get it yet. And if history tells us anything, it's that those wins hit the hardest when they finally happen. So yeah, he lost, but this isn't the end of the story. If anything, this is just setting up the next chapter.